Hey peeps, it's me again, Rosie here, and I'm just gonna let you guys know, if you've been seeing lately stupid videos of dumb people having opinions over why certain people or someone or whomever or whatever is concerned about your version and what you consume because you might be a recipient of food stamps, and said food stamps bother these people because I don't know why it would. But anyways, like I said to that one lady, I think around 4 to 5 days ago, I said, well, that's going to be a problem because there's lobbyists and lobbying. And people who sell the Oreos in question, any snacks you've ever bought with food stamps, that's why it's there. It was FDA approved, and there was no bill. There was no actual incentive, if not any type of, like, I would have to say there wasn't any vote on it. There was nobody, and they're not requiring it by nation or state, like what happened recently with Coca-Cola, where now they're going to start using real cane sugar instead of artificial, high fructose corn syrup, sugar, or molasses, or whatever they've been using for their stuff. That's the real reason why. You have to actually go against the lobbyists. But the problem is you have people in Congress who are bought out by the lobbyists. And this is why you have Pepsi Company, Coca-Cola Company, and stuff. And in case Hershey, or in the case of Nabisco, and in case of whatever company, I think Oreos is owned by, I think it's that. I think it might be the same, like Chips Ahoy. That's who is keeping those things in food stamps to be allowed and sold as food and edible. And the one thing I don't like about food stamps, the only thing I have my grievance is that when you want to get hot food, yes, you heard that right, like you want to get yourself a meal, and most homeless people usually are on food stamps, and they receive that, but it's instructed by them when you get food stamps that you're not allowed to purchase any hot food. So if you want to have a meal, let's say somewhere at McDonald's, for instance, or Carl's Jr., or Jack in a Box, or anywhere else, and there's a hot meal that could be served to you, but because, or any mom and pop shop that participates in such things, but it doesn't say EBT welcome, or like Subway or something, then you can't even do it. And by the way, you can only purchase with EBT cash, not with actual EBT, which is even weirder. I have an issue with food stamps in that reason right there, in that regard, because how can you feed America, especially the Americans, and you can't even access to actual food? But the only thing you're not allowed hot, which I would have to say, I agree, you can't sell your food stamps, you can't purchase it or trade it for alcohol, and you can't sell your food stamps entirely. But the thing that they also should allow but won't is hot food. And that's my issue with food stamps, and I want that to change, to be honest, because I don't care who you are, most people are not getting EBT cash like that. And I remember years ago when I had my first instance of EBT cash, I remember it was like less than like what, $20 or something, and I was able to buy certain stuff because it was EBT cash I had at that time. I think it was like a Ralph's years ago, I think, and I was buying like toiletry items, like, like soap and stuff. But you get what I'm saying. But they won't let you buy with EBT food itself at a restaurant that serves hot meals. And that's one thing, if I have an issue with food stamps, is that they should let even hot food be valid to purchase, because that can really make more jobs. That could really help some struggling restaurants to finally pick itself up the pace, and more people would actually go because they accept what EBT itself and not just EBT cash, that other segment. Now for the bitches that bitched and moaned about some of us saying what happened to October's food stamps or stupid stuff, or getting a box of designated food, the issue I have with those things right there is, number one, they give you about a bi-weekly worth of a week and a half's worth of food. Not even enough to even stretch out for the whole fucking month. So yeah, nice try, idiot. And then to the other one, complaining about getting a designated box, you have a thing called allergens and allergies, and straight up people who could be allergic. That's the whole point of freaking EBT card, is so someone like me, for instance, who wants to eat, for some reason I want to make, let's say, shrimp tacos, but my mom can't. because she's allergic to shellfish. So someone like her could also have EBD too, because I think at one point she did, years ago, before we both became unqualified or just didn't bother dealing with them anymore. She would be able to buy something because she has allergens, allergic stuff to certain type of foods. That's the whole point of EBT, okay? That debit card for the food stores is because people like that can have. You can have a peanut allergy, which is weird. How can you be allergic to peanuts? But that's another conversation for another day. But also, you have to understand it like this. I think it's a good thing they invented this, because to avoid such an issue. Or you could be allergic to wheat, gluten, for instance. There are people who can't even eat bread. So if they don't have alternative foods at that place or at that pantry or participating churches or the good faith of will, people doing like a hodgepodge like type of event or thing or whatever, a food drive, and they can finally have that supplementation with that damn card, which is the EBT. So that's the whole point of the EBT card, is to avoid that kind of legality or issues or whatever that could avoid people who will be like, I can't eat any of your food because I'm allergic to it or something, you know? It's for people like that, okay? That's the whole point. This shouldn't be that hard to see why. I even think it's a good thing that this happened. But the only thing I don't like about it is that when they do a clerical error like they've been doing to me twice in my local county/town EBT office or whatever, called Department of Social Services, they did a mistake on my application and they wanted me at first to pay $42 or something, and then I didn't know why. At first I didn't know, like 10 plus years ago I paid it back through my older sister's help. And then the other thing, 5 years ago, this is why I stopped being on EBT, was they wanted to charge me nearly $600, and I didn't even do anything except just, I had like a part-time job and I barely made enough to get by. Really, I did. Barely at all. And then after they tried to do that, I had already lost my job at that point, by the way. And so that's why I say it's been 5 plus to 6 years from now since I've been on EBT, but I will tell you this, they can't charge me that now because it's been half a decade already. And like I said, if they need a $600, they already got it back, because I'm not part of that anymore. But that doesn't mean because of that bad experience, I'm going to want someone else to not have an ideal, a chance, and an opportunity to get food stamps for themselves. I'm going to want them to get that. I'm telling you guys like this, straight up. These ladies who are upset and bitter, did the lady who used to be on food stamps, the one eating Funky Toes, did she disqualify herself, or did she defraud the state or anything? Is that why she's no longer on it? Or did the other one who complained about us eating snack food, like Oreos for instance, became an issue because she wasn't qualified for it? I don't know. It makes me think those two ladies either were once recipients or were both disgruntled people who got bad experience from it, like myself, and now are just being bitches about it on the internet. Or, we don't know else more, they probably didn't qualify in general. So who knows? But anyways, peeps, I just wanted to put you my 2 cents in the situation and why I think they should keep food stamps and why they should change stuff about the food stamps that can make it more better and not just be piss poor. I really would feel like if they really want to change everything about the food stamps, what they really should do is they should just not just make it just to be almost homeless and broke, but they should be like, if you're middle income or higher, maybe you could partially qualify, and if you're low income and impoverished, you should instantly qualify, because I feel like this would kind of negate all the gaps that we're having, in which why some of us would qualify and not have to pay back according to the county or state or whatever because of something they think we did wrong when it was just their own clerical errors. But anyway, peeps, thanks for listening, and always, this is Rosie Says, and I'll see you on the next post stream, podcast, and whatever else I might be on. Bye!